How's it going?
When building out protection calls for an offense, how different is it whenever you're presenting that through the lens of the eyes of the center versus the eyes of quarterback?
I think there's awareness to the different perspectives, just the viewpoints of obviously a center and a quarterback. I think we've spent a ton of time this offseason really just building a very collaborative, collective effort as from a protection standpoint that really doesn't hang on one person. It's a collective thing. It's really honing in on making sure everyone's on the same page because doesn't have to be the perfect calls. It has to be the right calls where everyone understands the rules and the issues and the strengths of each and every look. So,
Kellen, we were just talking to Vic. A lot of similarities for Green Bay offensively. For him, haven't changed much. For you, it's a lot different. They have a new coordinator, kind of switching up. How do you handle that uncertainty in Week 1?
Yeah, a lot of people face this, obviously, in football in general, certainly in the NFL, where you're facing an opponent that has a lot of unknown, whether it be personnel or scheme. Obviously, ours is very focused on scheme, and so you draw awareness of the different dots that you can connect with, whether it be coaches, players, all the different circumstances. But you understand, early in the season, everyone deals with unknown in the NFL. It could be a returning group that has been together for 10 years. They're going to evolve in some capacity during the offseason, and so you definitely have to emphasize that there's going to be an element of new. You lean heavily on what you've invested a lot of time in, things that people feel confident with, understand what the tools are and what the adjustments need to be made throughout a game, and we understand that adjustment football will be a part of this.
First time speaking to you since the Dotson trade. How did that change things for you when you add a contributor at that point in the summer?
Yeah, obviously, I think everyone who went through the draft process saw the great talent that he was, and we were really, really excited about that opportunity. He'll be a great piece to our offensive process, and excited to let him kind of build that role as we go. Obviously, when you come in, during the season, I think you let him just keep growing, and we'll keep finding where that role presents itself. But he'll be certainly a nice aspect of this thing, and he'll be heavily involved.
How much of an advantage?
Go ahead.
How much of an advantage is it for you going into this game, like John was just asking? On offense, I mean, the Packers haven't really seen what you guys are going to do, and obviously Nick talks about competitive advantage. You guys kind of kept things close to the vest. Do you feel like for this first game, you guys have that kind of?
It goes both ways. Both sides can see it from the same lens. There's unknown on both sides of this thing. Obviously, I'm sure we'll run something that they didn't practice, and they'll run plenty of things that we did not practice. And so, again, it's honing in on your process and trusting your rules, and that they'll be saying the same things, emphasizing the same things. I think it's a matter of there'll be adjustments within this game, and how quickly and concise can we get those within the coaching staff and the players, and us just working through this, which I'm excited about.
Right around.
Grab this from you real quick.
Yeah.
We need to play sheets.
Zoom in.
Right around whenever you first got here, Jalen said he was going into sponge mode with the offense, and he's a person who's really sought out a lot of advice a lot of times and has talked about that. What did you notice immediately from him in terms of how much he was pursuing to learn more and the responsibilities that he'd have?
Yeah, I think what's really cool when you go through these processes is there's growth on all ends, growth on my end as well as his end. And so I think teaming up on this, and really you go through a long process through the offseason where it's kind of X's and O's and schemes. Then you finally get on the field during OTAs and you start going through that process, being able to have those conversations. And then it really gets deep in training camp. You're through it each and every day. Where are the adjustments? Where are the things we like? Where are the things we don't like? And really, we're building that cohesive connection that everyone's on the same page heading into this thing. Jalen's done a phenomenal job just embracing this. Like any quarterback, they always want growth each and every offseason. Jalen's going to keep growing each year. I think he's taken some awesome steps this year. It's been a really fun process to see.
When you see a player like Kenny Clark on tape, what's the first thing that jumps out to you?
Yeah, obviously explosion. He's a guy that can have a huge impact on this game. And obviously, we have awareness that they've invested a lot on that defense. They've done a tremendous job of building the talent around that thing, and so it's going to be a challenge for us.
You have a lot of playmakers. Jahan, as they mentioned, added to that, but you also have guys who are more role players. Kenny Gainwell, for instance. How much do you think about those guys going into the game, or is it just sort of a feel?
No, each and every guy has a role on this team, and it's very, very important that everyone embraces those roles. We spent a lot of time talking about that, obviously. when you look at it from a wider lens, it's a long season. All these guys are going to be counted on in different capacities. Some weeks it may be a few plays, some weeks it may increase based off the game plan and the circumstances. And so we feel really fortunate to have the guys that we have, the depth that we have in a number of positions, that we're going to be able to play this thing all the way to the end with a lot of talented players.
These past 6 weeks, what did you learn about Mekhi Becton as a guard?
Obviously, he can do it, and he's done a tremendous job just embracing a new role. Just teaming up with those guys. The veterans that he has around him, just embracing it. He's done a phenomenal job. So many positives.
With Saquon, snap counts, touches, will you monitor that stuff as you go, or do you kind of just let him go and play it by ear?
No, naturally you'll have awareness as it goes, but obviously we feel very confident he can go for it here. And seasons are seasons. You make adjustments as you go, but I think Saquon's obviously in a great position to just go for it here.
I'd assume how you lay out an offense is dependent on who you have, leveraging the players you have. Had Kelsey still been here, would the way you approach pre-snap protections have changed, or is that really just kind of a philosophical thing for you of how you split between those roles?
No, it's hard to judge that just because I don't know to the capacity of how it was fully structured with Jason. Obviously, he did a phenomenal job with this, and anytime you have a player who has experience, obviously you want to utilize that. I think our investment has just been on making sure everyone's on the same page, and it's a very collective effort. And so we feel really comfortable with where we're at with this, and there was a lot of positives that we were able to lean on and grow from the past, and certainly little adjustments that will be made and can be made.
What's unique about like the offense that you designed here as opposed to being in Dallas or with the Chargers? Is it more based on because of the players you have and everything that kind of lets you?
Yeah, I think it's important that certainly you have core values and foundational things that you believe in, but as you go through an off season with the staff, with the players, you're going to build this thing around what we feel like is best suited for us, whether it be personnel or some of the schematic elements of it. And so, some things may look like they were from places in my past life. Some may look like something familiar, and some may be something that hasn't been touched before. And so, we're exploring that, and we've gone through that process for a long time now.
What are you most curious to learn in the first game about your offense?
Just the operation. I think any time you're going through week one, we talked a lot about unknowns. It's the operation, it's the process, it's us playing with pace, in and out of the huddle, communicating, everyone's on the same page. You just want a clean operation.
In general, as a former quarterback, do you want somebody who craves autonomy and craves that trump card, as you called it, as Jalen has said he's wanted to get?
I think every quarterback, at least a lot of ones that I'm familiar with, you go through a process as you grow and mature and get exposed to a lot of football. And so Jalen's obviously on that path. He's done such a tremendous job his first 2 years in this league, and we're excited to continue to grow his role as we go. And so any quarterback, they have a great feel for what all 11 responsibilities are on the field, and so they understand the adjustments that could be made and the tools that we can utilize. And so we're continuing to try and build that within the game plans that gives him the ability to make those adjustments when we see that they can help us, benefit us in any way.
Circling back to Jahan, you said a few moments ago. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
You said a few moments ago that you'll kind of see it as you go here, as he gets time. Is there a smaller package in for him at this point, or is it like the full playbook for him? He's
done a tremendous job. I can't say enough positive things about him. Amo, working with him throughout the last however many, whatever it's been, a week, 10 days. He's done a tremendous job of hopping in there and embracing this thing. And so, really even today and the next couple of days, obviously have impact on that, just the capacity that guys can play within. And so he's done a tremendous job. We feel very confident with him, very comfortable with him. He's handled it really, really well.
Do you have a sense of what Jalen prefers in terms of communication through the headset, more information, just the call, anything like that?
It's been something we've definitely emphasized all offseason, just constant feedback of how we can best communicate. And so, certainly we're in a place I feel good about our process.
All right. Okay.
All right, thanks.
I'll bring down